Today we're going to do a tier list. Now for the most part on this channel, I do like to rank things based on facts, based on analytics, kind of on my opinion, kind of my prediction. Today we're just going to focus on opinion. Now there's tons of videos that I do want to post before baseball season starts, but some take a little bit longer than others. So today I'm just going to be doing a tier list on how much I like each MLB team. This is on tiermaker.com. I will put the link in the description if you guys want to do it yourself. And if you do end up doing it, please screenshot it and send it to me on Twitter. Alright, so with that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so I have 4 categories right here on my computer screen. Again, this is tiermaker.com if you ever want to do it. We have favorites, which are my favorite teams. There's probably going to be a few that go in there. You probably know one of them already. You have like, where I relatively like them, maybe because of a player, maybe because of their logo, maybe because of their stadium. There's tons of reasons why I would like them, but they're not my favorites. I wouldn't root for them on a daily. And then there's no opinion, which is kind of just like, don't really care about them, never really talked about them unless I'm going to talk about it in a video or talk about it in somebody else's conversation, but I don't talk about them on a regular basis. And then there's just generally hate. A team I just cannot stand, whether it's the fans or it's just the team, if they're in a division with one of my favorite teams, if they are a rival of one of my teams, you know, if they did something, if they beat somebody, I just hate them, don't like them. So if you think hate is a strong word, you might want to click off of this video because it might get a little bit more worse than that, because I might be triggering a few other teams. Who knows what I'm going to be saying about these teams? I don't even know. I usually do this from a script. Alright, the first one up is the Baltimore Orioles. Now, I don't really have an opinion on the Orioles. I went to their stadium, very nice stadium. Of course, it wasn't really when they were a good team. They actually lost that game that I went to. They lost 2-0 to the Marlins. Baltimore, very nice city, very nice stadium, but kind of a little bit old-fashioned for me. I just don't really have an opinion on them, so I'm just going to put them in no opinion. Alright, so you have the Boston Red Sox. Now, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the Red Sox. Whenever they're playing a team that I need them to beat, you know, my favorite team's chances, they usually never come through for me. But, you know, my team beat them in '86, and, you know what, there's a lot going around right now about them, and I'm not really happy with Alex Cora. So, as of right now, it's hate. I'm sorry. You can't cheat. Sorry. Alright, next up. I mean, you already know where this one's going. The Yankees, I'm sorry. That's a given, alright? Alright, I'm friends with a lot of Yankees fans. I know a lot of Yankees fans. Some of them are fantastic. Some of them know their stuff. They know as many rings as they won. They always like to say 27 rings, 27 this. And I mean, the team in general, I'm just so tired of seeing this team win. Maybe that just makes me a salty baseball fan, but I like to see other teams win. I don't know what to tell you. My entire family hates the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. I can't deal with the Yankees. No offense, Yankee fans, but the team is kind of like that spoiled kid who gets everything they want by not even working towards it because they got money. You get what I mean? You get what I mean. If you're not a Yankee fan, you get what I mean. But you know what? I respect the Yankees, an amazing organization, the greatest franchise in all of sports, and that's coming from a Mets fan. There's nothing you can do to change my mind. Alright, then we have the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays, okay. The Rays, I'm gonna go with like on this one. Now, the stadium, not that good. Easily probably the worst venue in all of baseball, but I do like their team. I do like how they form their team, especially on a low budget. I like Kevin Cash as a manager. I think he's a smart guy. I think he knows what he's doing. They made some pretty good moves this offseason. I believe they brought in Hunter Renfroe from the Padres. Dude's a stud. I think he's good. They have a future star in Brandon Lau. He was up for Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to be a very good player. They have a bunch of pieces that nobody really talks about, but they're a pretty good team. Let me know other moves that the Rays made. Can't really think of them off the top of my head. I got to move on. This video would be 2 hours long if I talk about every move that every team made. All right, next up is the Blue Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays, on one hand, I do like the Rogers Center. On the other hand, they're just a team that's not there yet, but you know what? I love that young core. I think it's a great team, a great future for that team. They brought in Hyun-Jin Ryu, who is a solid left-handed pitcher. I'm going to go in I like their organization. I like what they're doing. They got Vlad Jr., Cavan Biggio. They got Bo Bichette. They're going to be successful in the future. I like what this team looks like. A lot of young talent. They got a bright future ahead of them. I like the Blue Jays. I like what they're doing. All right, the Chicago White Sox. Now, if you asked me maybe a few years ago, 2 years ago, I would put them in no opinion. They have been loading up this offseason. They brought in Gio Gonzalez, I'm pretty sure. Dallas Keuchel they brought in. They have Lucas Giolito, who, he's not amazing, but he's pretty good. They also brought in Yasmani Grandal. This dude is an absolute beast. I think he's an amazing hitting catcher. And I also think they re-signed Jose Abreu, so that puts it in the like. I like what they're doing there. They're finally spending money. They're finally going all out. They're trying to make a run for that division. I think they're a good team. I think they're going to be good in the future. All right, now you move to the Cleveland Indians. All right, so the Indians are cleaning house right now. Again, another team I just never had an opinion on, and I still don't. They were very successful a few years ago. Francisco Lindor, best shortstop in the league, hands down for me. You know, they got Jose Ramirez. They did trade away Corey Kluber for next to nothing. Again, a team I just don't really care about. It's just no opinion. Not really a single opinion. All right, then you move to the Detroit Tigers, another team where I just don't really care. Here's the thing. They're not going to be good for a while. They were good. I like Miguel Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera, dude, was a stud in his day. Triple Crown winner, MVP, could definitely lead a team. He's obviously the leader on the team still, but he's just not the player he used to be. They got Nico Goodrum, pretty good player. They also got Jacoby Jones. He's not that bad. Team is not that good. It won't be good for another 3-4 years. They're kind of in a rebuilding process right now. Never really had an opinion on the Tigers. They've had a lot of success in the past. Hopefully they can climb back up to the top of that division, because then it'll be very competitive in the AL Central. Okay, now we have the Royals. All right, Royals, not a good team now. They cleaned house. They don't really have anybody from that 2015 team anymore, but I gotta put it in hate. I'll put it right at the end there. The Royals, they ruined my chances as a Mets fan to witness glory. That team, it destroyed us. Destroyed Jeurys Familia. Destroyed that entire bullpen. 3 blown saves in that World Series. I still won't get over that. They would have 12 pitch at bats. Like, to strike them out, it would take like 15 pitches. And don't tell me that it was the Mets' fault and the whole team completely collapsed and didn't show up. Daniel Murphy, he was Babe Ruth and then he turned into Anthony Recker. Don't tell me any of that stuff, because we had the lead in all 5 of those games in the World Series. We probably could have won the series 4-1 if that bullpen, Jeurys Familia, didn't gift them the World Series title in the 8th and 9th inning. It happens. The Mets, hopefully they get back there. Who knows? But Royals, that's one thing that I'll put in the hate column for saltiness. I usually don't use my saltiness with my opinion. I give credit where it's due, but I gotta put a pass on that one because it still pisses me off. The Twinkies, these guys, they're a good team. I like what they're doing. I'm going to put them in like. This team has gotten pwned over and over again by the Yankees, Red Sox, any team that you can imagine in the American League. They've never been able to get that monkey off their back ever since the 90s, 2000s. But I think they're starting to make a run. They still got pwned by the Yankees in the playoffs, got swept out the building. This year, I think it's going to be pretty good because they brought in Josh Donaldson. Love this guy. All right, I know Josh Donaldson, he's got a little bit of a temper, but I really think Donaldson, I love his fiery attitude. I love this guy's energy, his passion. This guy swings the bat so well. Great glove in the field. He's a former MVP. He's getting up there in age, and he's a veteran, but I think he's going to be a perfect power anchor to this lineup. He's going to drive guys in. He's going to come up clutch for the Twins. He came up clutch a lot for the Braves, and that's why they had so much success in the regular season last year. I think he's amazing, and I'm glad he is out of the NL East. Phew. All right, now we have the Houston Astros. All right, I think I speak for everybody who watches baseball and everybody that's not a fan of the Astros. Fuck the Houston Astros. Sorry for my language, but fuck the Houston Astros. The Astros, their entire success from when they moved to the American League, it's completely tarnished. Their first ever dominant year around, I think it was 2015, 16, and then 17, they won the World Series. But you know what? They cheated. No. Don't like that. You can't cheat in baseball. This is, it's America's pastime. You can't ruin the game like that. I mean, before we move on, we just have to get this out of the way. Fuck Jose Altuve, fuck Alex Bregman, and fuck George Springer. Thank you very much. Whew, I got heated. Okay, I'm all right. Whew, all right. The Angels, it's kind of a half and half for me. On one hand, I love Mike Trout. I think Mike Trout is an amazing player, best player in baseball, hands down. You cannot even argue at all. He is going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time. Dude, he's so athletic, has an amazing glove, amazing arm. Dude can hit. He's an all-around player, and he's a genuinely nice guy. You also have Anthony Rendon on that team now because he was just acquired by the Angels in free agency this year. Another guy I'm happy is out of the NL East. No longer can kill the Mets, and the Mets might actually have some chances. Anthony Rendon is an absolute Met killer. Look up his stats against the Mets. It's uncanny. Seriously. I'm going to put them in the like. Now, the other hand, why I wouldn't like the Angels, they just don't have any pitching. I know they tried to go after Garrett Cole. They swung and they missed and they lost to the Yankees. They probably should have went after Bumgarner. They probably should have went after Strasburg. Maybe try to get somebody, but they didn't. Maybe try to get Hyun-Jin Ryu. He was going to be able to sign a short-term contract for them. But no. Again, they have Ohtani. But we haven't really seen Ohtani pitch recently. He had an injury. He was only allowed to hit. He was only allowed to DH. I think he's a one-of-a-kind talent, but I just don't think it's enough to compare to other pitching staffs in the American League West and just the American League in general. They just lack pitching, but I like Mike Trout. I love Anthony Rendon, even though he kills the Mets. Dude's a raw talent. And of course, the Angels also have Joe Adell, who is going to be a future superstar in my opinion. Big fan of that Angels outfield, big fan of that Angels team. Get some pitching though. We now move on to the Oakland A's, and this is going to be the first one to go in the favorites column. Now, let me tell you why. There's tons of reasons why they're one of my favorite teams. Now, I will always be a Mets fan, but every person always has that team that they root for. Whenever they have their team out of the playoffs, the A's is that team. Now, there's tons of reasons why. First off, my dad is a big A's fan. I love what the A's do with their organization. I love what Billy Beane is able to do with such a tight budget. Billy Beane, what this guy does is he searches at value. So whenever he gets a good team and their value goes up, they're about to be free agents, he tries to get prospects, he tries to get guys for them to trade them away because he knows that they're probably not going to be able to pay them or extend them. So once he does that, he develops the prospects, they bring him up, and they just start all over again, and they're a 90-win team. Every 2 years, they'll just be a 90-win team, and they'll have like 4 straight dominant years, get to the playoffs. You know, they might not be the most complete team. They have a little bit of a shaky bullpen. They have a little bit of a shaky rotation. They don't really have any superstars in the pitching category just yet, but I think Jesus Luzardo is going to be a future superstar and might be the Rookie of the Year this year, or pitching rookie of the year. I think they split them up these days. All I can say is the A's, great organization. I love Bob Melvin. I love what he's able to do. He's a smart guy. Maybe the A's one day will win a playoff series and go deep far. They got amazing depth on that team. They have an amazing big three with Semien, Chapman, and Olsen. Semien came into third place for MVP last year. Chapman, Platinum Glove winner, and Olsen, amazing glove, power anchor. Dude's amazing. So A's, one of my favorite teams. Seattle Mariners. Okay, I'm not going to go with saltiness on this one. Even though I'm a little bit salty, I feel like we kind of got tricked by the Mariners with that Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz trade. Now, Diaz, he can't be worse. He can't be worse. But Robinson Cano... Oh my God. Robinson Cano getting paid $24 million until he is 42 years old each year. He's out of his prime. He's just not that good. He's a good veteran hitter. He knows what he's doing, but he just can't stay healthy. I just feel like once he put on that Mets uniform for the first time, he just regressed into a shell of the player he used to be. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully he plays better for the Mets, but the Mets have tons of second base options. The Mariners, a team, just doesn't really have a franchise player. I guess they have Seager, they have Vogelbach. That's about it. There's not really much star power on that team. I brought in Jared Kelenic. He is one of the top prospects in the MLB. I think he's going to be a star. He's a great hitter, great outfielder, strong arm, is an amazing glove, very athletic. I don't understand why the Mets gave him up, especially now that they were searching for a center fielder. This offseason ended up with Jake Marisnick. But, you know, I think the Mariners, not really an opinion on it, but I'm kind of mad how that trade kind of turned out. Maybe it's too early to judge it. I know a lot of people say it's a little early to judge it. But Robinson Cano, y'all dumped that contract on us, man, and it sucks, dude. It just sucks. All right, the Texas Rangers. Rangers were a team that never really had an opinion on them, really kind of rooted against them when they were in competition with the A's and the Coco Crisp and Yoenis Cespedes days. They're rebuilding. They got Joey Gallo. Gallo, underrated player, amazing. No real opinion on this Rangers team. The Rangers, of course, got Corey Kluber this offseason for absolutely next to nothing. You know, who knows what this team has in store. I don't think they're going to make any noise just yet, but they're in the running to be a pretty good team. So, you know, they're trying to find that guy to build around. It looks like it's going to be Joey Gallo, but who knows what the future is for the Rangers. All right, now we move to the National League. The first one we got is the Braves, and you're going right there. Actually, you're going right here. The Braves, they scare the crap out of me, man. They really do. Just when I thought that the Mets actually had a chance once Donaldson left the Braves, they went and signed Marcell Ozuna. I mean, that team is just so deep. I just can't stand it. They are the Mets' Achilles heel. They have been the Mets' Achilles heel for the past few years since the 2015 Mets team, but they are so good. Freddie Freeman, all-time Met killer. Dude just kills the Mets ever since he was born. You also have Ronald Acuna Jr., future MVP, probably might win it this year, probably next year. They have just an amazing squad, amazing depth. Ozzie Albies, fast as lightning, amazing glove. Dude is flashy. Austin Riley, he hasn't been that impressive, but I think he has a lot of potential. They brought in Will Smith this year. They brought in Cole Hamels. They also have Mike Soroka, who is an absolute beast. Oh, dude, that Braves team scares the shit out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. They're really, really good. All right, now we have the Marlins. The Mets punching bag recently, ever since that 2008 collapse. Let's just forget Tom Glavine was on the Mets. I don't actually hate them, don't really have an opinion on them. I love their stadium. I went to see it when I was in Fort Lauderdale. Great stadium, love it. It's a nice place. Too bad they don't have any attendance there because nobody really goes there, but it's a nice place. And I'm sorry that Jeter is treating your team like a farm system for the Yankees. Alright, so the next one, we got the New York Mets. This one's pretty easy. I'm a Mets fan. This one, you know, love this team right now. I think the future is very bright for this team. Love it. Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil. Of course, we got Jacob deGrom, the best pitcher in baseball. And then, of course, we have this just amazing young core. Like I said, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Michael Conforto, J.D. Davis, Dominic Smith, Ahmad Rosario. We have some great veterans, of course. Robinson Cano, he's good when he wants to be. You also have Wilson Ramos, very good. Noah Syndergaard, dude is an absolute animal. I am so hyped up to see Noah pitch because I think he's going to be even better. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he will be even better. I like Steven Matz. I know you guys, some Mets fans don't like Steven Matz. I like Steven Matz. I think he has good stuff, but sometimes he gets a little shaky. I think this is a great rotation. Of course, we have Marcus Stroman, Mets fan as a kid. Love this guy's finesse. He's so good on the mound. Brought in Dellin Betances this year, who's kind of going to be a question mark, but I think he is going to have a great bounce-back season. I think he's going to be great from injury. I'm really excited. It's going to be a very competitive NL East, and I'm up for it. Let's dance. Let's do it. All right, we move on to the Phillies. Yeah, you know where this one's going. That one's going in the #1 spot. Phillies' least favorite team. Can't stand them. Can't stand some of these Philly fans. Again, some of y'all are fantastic. Y'all know your stuff. I like to make fun of Phillies fans that they always spend so much money and then they just get nowhere. They stay mediocre. And what just makes them even worse is now they have Bryce Harper. So that makes me hate them even more. And that's what puts them in the #1 spot. They took Wheeler away from us. I don't think they took him away because the Mets didn't even give him an offer. Zach Wheeler, he's not worth the money. I think he's a great pitcher. I think he's a decent 3 to 4 ERA guy, but he's not worth $100 million, and he's not an ace. So good luck with Zach Wheeler trying to put him as one of your best starters. I know they obviously have Aaron Nola, who's going to be their #1, and then Zach Wheeler, who's going to be their #2. I still think the Phillies are a 4th place team. I'll have more information about that in a video that I'll be doing later on. They just don't impress me. Phillies don't impress me. Even as much money that they will spend, or as much good players on paper that they bring in, they just don't impress me. They're just not that good. Mets are superior to Phillies right now. I'm sorry. That might be a Mets bias for you, but I don't know. They're just not intimidating to me. And now we got the Washington Nationals, the defending champs. Now, we're going to put them right there on the 3rd spot right there. So you got Phillies. Hey, Paw. Okay, I'm ADHD. Anyway, the Phillies, Braves, and Nationals, obviously division rivals of the Mets. The Nationals, the Mets have had their number recently. They match up very well with them. They destroyed their bullpen. Their bullpen was absolutely awful this year, but they still found a way to the World Series. You know, huge fan of what they're doing. They re-signed Steven Strasburg. I don't understand that. I would have went after Rendon. Rendon, big Met killer. Glad he's out of the NL East. I'll say that again. And I just don't think the Nationals are as good as the Mets now that they don't have Anthony Rendon, and they also missed out on Josh Donaldson. So, I don't know. Mad Max Scherzer, love that guy. Dude's good. Juan Soto, absolutely. Dude's a beast. He's another guy that can be a potential MVP. I think you guys, if you've seen my video of 6 potential MVPs, he was on there, and he drives in runs as much as he scores. I think it was 126 RBIs and 126 runs scored. That doesn't happen. That barely happens at all. Dude is a one-of-a-kind. He's not amazing with the glove, but he's a good hitter. When he's in the box, he looks like a veteran hitter. And he's only, 20 years old? 21 years old? Dude's a stud. He's absolutely amazing. Whatever. Don't like the Nationals, though. Division rivals. All right, we move on to the National League Central. We got the Cubs. All right, this one I gotta put in hate. I'm sorry. Cubs fans, I feel like y'all got cocky. Ever since y'all broke that drought of 108 years, once you won that World Series, you got a little confidence. You got your Chris Bryant. You got your Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo, underrated player, amazing player. I think he's so good. Javi Baez, great shortstop. Originally a second baseman, made an amazing transition to that position. Chris Bryant looks like they're about to trade. I don't know. I just don't like the Cubs. I'm not a fan of the Cubs. I don't know. Mets fans, they just don't get along with Cubs fans just a little bit. They both have beaten up on each other before. The Cincinnati Reds, the Reds have loaded up this season. They brought in Mike Moustakas. They brought in Nick Castellanos, two great hitters. They are a loaded team. I actually thought they were going to be in the running to trade for Francisco Lindor, but none of that really actually happened. They got the main man, Eugenio Suarez. Dude is a beast. This guy can hit 50 home runs a year, and he's a tiny guy. I don't really have an opinion on the Reds, but the Reds are a good team. I think they're going to be good in the future. Do I think they're a World Series team this year? Probably not, but they will eventually get there. I think they're a good team. I think the Reds are going to make probably the biggest improvement this year. All right, then we move on to the Brewers. Now, the Brewers, again, another team I just don't have an opinion on. Milwaukee's a place the Mets just cannot win. Why can't the Mets win in Milwaukee? I don't get it. Do they have to be drunk to play? I don't understand. The Mets just can't win in Milwaukee. I hate when the Mets play in Milwaukee. It's just a weird environment. It's a cool design stadium. I do like what the stadium looks like. I like their mascot when he goes down the slide. I like what their stadium looks like, but the Mets just can never win in Milwaukee. Absolute beast. Josh Hader. Not sure what other pickups. Let me know who else the Brewers picked up. Do you guys think they're a playoff team? Let me know. But other than that, Brewers, not really that big of an opinion. They're a good team. Can the Mets win in Milwaukee next year? We'll find out. The Cardinals, a team that can just find a way to win every single year. They just find a way into the playoffs, whether you're talking about them or not. Whether the best team or they're one of the mediocre teams, they find a way to contend for the playoffs because they're a successful franchise. I think 12 World Series championships. Last one was in the Albert Pujols days. They're still a great team. They did lose Marcell Ozuna to free agency, but I still think it's a good team. You have veteran presence like Paul Goldschmidt. You have a lot of great players. You have Adam Wainwright, who's, getting up there with age, but he's very respected there. I think the Cardinals are a good team. Another team, don't have an opinion on. They're highly successful. They're a great team. They're the Yankees of the National League, if you could say that. It's whatever. Cardinals, no real opinion. Pittsburgh, another place that the Mets were not able to win in the last decade. Again, another team, no opinion. Now, you can say that I probably hate them for kind of baiting the Mets into trying to go over trade talks over like a month and a half span with Starling Marte. I did not want Starling Marte. I think Brandon Nimmo is a complete amazing player who has a lot of potential. He just needs to stay healthy. And I just don't think Marte was worth it. If you want me to make a video on why Marte wasn't worth it, let me know in the comments below. Another one I just don't really have an opinion on. Pirates, not really much success ever since Andrew McCutchen left, or should I say Andrew McClutchen. Josh Bell, the guy it's kind of built around. They got a lot of developing players. They might be good in the future. Now, probably not. All right, we go down to the final division. We have the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks, another team, no opinion. Absolutely no opinion. Diamondbacks, one of those teams that when you think of the top of your mind of MLB teams, they're just one of those teams that you just barely remember. You know what I mean? They're loading up this season, though. They did get Starling Marte, like I said, in a trade. They did trade with the Pirates also have Ketel Marte. Dude's a stud. I think he's going to be so good in the future. They also got Madison Bumgarner to be their ace to replace Greinke, who they traded away to the Astros. I think they have a lot of potential. They also have Eduardo Escobar, very underrated player in the league. I think it's a good team. I think they'll be good in the future. Do I think they'll be good this year? I still think the Dodgers are still the top dog in that division. All right, we move on to the Rockies. Another team, no real opinion on. They have a bunch of stars, a bunch of great guys who have so much potential, a bunch of all-stars, a bunch of amazing players. Nolan Arenado, David Dahl, Trevor Story. You also have Charlie Blackmon still there. He's a veteran. He's very good. They got no pitching. That's where pitchers go to die. Coors effect, I mean, I don't like to bring it up, because I'm not really that much of a visual analytic type person, but the Coors effect kind of does come into play with pitching. Do have John Gray, who I guess is considered their ace, but there's not really much with pitching. Rockies, y'all signed Nolan Arenado. He said he's disrespected. Trade him to the Mets. Thank you. All right, the Dodgers. Yeah, you know where this one's going. Dodgers, great organization. You guys, you make the moves, you spend the money, but you fail. I'm sorry. You hit the bed every year. Y'all in the playoffs, you just don't show up. You got Kershaw. The Achilles heel is the playoffs. He comes in there relief, or he'll start, and he's just not. He looks out of place. Walker Buehler, absolute stud. You also have Cody Bellinger. You made a trade for Mookie Betts. I don't think it went through yet. As I'm recording this video, let me know if it went through. It probably did go through. Can't really stand the Dodgers at all. Went into Game 5 with them with the Mets 2015. Chase Utley. Don't even want to talk about it. Dude broke one of my favorite Mets legs. He was never the same again. Padres. I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing, man. Manny Machado. Possibly overpaid. The guy, he's a hothead. Chris Paddock, I know he kind of had like that so-called media beef with Pete Alonso, how he said he was going to win Rookie of the Year. But Chris Paddock, dude, is nasty. I think he is so good. I really thought that the Padres possibly had a chance to get Steven Strasburg, because that is his hometown. Padres, it looked like they were going to get Mookie Betts for a minute. They got a very good team. Fernando Tatis Jr., dude, is an absolute stud, but come on, Pete Alonso is better. Have Kirby Yates still, very good closer. I think he's really good. Giants, I make a lot of fun of the Giants. I actually do have an opinion. So I'm going to put them at the end of hate, because I do give them a lot of hate. I don't hate them. I call them the retirement home of the MLB, because they kind of are, with Evan Longoria there. And they got a lot of guys. Pablo Sandoval, Brandon Belt is not that good anymore. Buster Posey, he's just getting up there in age, and he's kind of a disgrace to the catcher position. If you want my opinion on that, I might make a video on it. Let me know. Giants, again, I give them a lot of hate. I can't say I have no opinion. I do have an opinion on them, and I like to make fun of them a lot, but they are very successful, and I think they're a really good team. So there you guys go. There is my favorites to least favorites tier, whatever you want to call it. My favorite teams to my least favorite teams, to the ones I don't have an opinion on, to the ones that I somewhat like. I like what they're doing. Let me know who would be in each one of these categories for you down below. Comment below if I should do another tier list for anything. Try to keep it baseball related. Guys, I have some great videos that are coming out, but again, they take a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of editing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Also, comment below what your favorite team is, what your least favorite team is. I'd love to know. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's going to be tons of videos uploaded this baseball season. I have one that is going to be a big one that you definitely want to click that bell to receive notifications for when it's up, because it's going to be good. It's going to be controversial. I'm going to have so many baseball conversations about it. I'm so excited to get into maybe a few arguments. Who knows? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am MetsFan5 signing off. So long. Remember that Rickster loves you. Thank you for watching, and let's go Mets. Sell the team, Will Pons. I swear, I don't care how you do it. Sell the team.